Mexico is a country located in the southern part of North America. It is bordered by the United States to the north, Belize and Guatemala to the south, the Pacific Ocean to the west, and the Gulf of Mexico and Caribbean Sea to the east. Mexico is known for its rich history, vibrant culture, delicious cuisine, beautiful scenery, and the 11th most populous country in the world, and has the third largest economy in America. Mexico is a federal republic with a presidential system, serves as both head of state and head of government. The government consists of three branches: executive, legislative, and judicial. The president is elected through general elections and serves a 6-year term. Mexico is one of the largest economies in the world, sitting at the 14th, and is the largest regional economic power since 1994. Key sectors include manufacturing, petroleum, electronics, automotive, tourism, and agriculture. The country was a member of North American Free Trade Agreement or NAFTA, which now been replaced by the United States, Mexico, Canada Agreement or USMCA. Mexico was the first Latin American member of the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development or OECD, making Mexico an average upper-middle-class country. It is also an active member of the G20, APEC, UN, OAS, and others.
Indonesia and Mexico established diplomatic relationship back in 1953. And although both countries are located in different and opposing parts of the world, Indonesia in Southeast Asia and Mexico in Central America, but both countries are celebrating 70 years of bilateral relationship. Hello and welcome to Ambassador Corner with me, Siska Becker. Right now I'm at the private residence of His Excellency Mr. Armando Alvarez, the Mexican ambassador to Indonesia. And today we're going to be talking about the complexities of the relationship between Indonesia and Mexico, while also learning so much about the rich history and traditions of Mexico. That's all coming up now in today's edition of Ambassador Corner. Hello and welcome to Ambassador Corner with me, your host, Siska Becker. Today, my very special guest is the Ambassador of Mexico to Indonesia, His Excellency Mr. Armando Alvarez. Mr. Ambassador, buenos dias.
Selamat pagi, Mbak Siska, dan selamat datang.
Terima kasih banyak. Thank you so much, Mr. Ambassador, for welcoming us to this beautiful residence. This is a very wonderful opportunity to be able to talk to you and to have you tell us a lot of things about the relationship between Mexico and Indonesia. So first of all, thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you, and thank you for wearing the Mexican colors.
Yes, this is actually very intentional. Thank you for noticing. So, Mr. Ambassador, we're just gonna go straight to my first question. Just quite recently, Indonesia and Mexico celebrated the 70th anniversary of the diplomatic relationship between the two countries just in April 2023. But could you please elaborate more and tell us how is the relationship between Mexico and Indonesia right now in 2023?
Well, first of all, let me tell you something about the history of the bilateral contacts between Mexico and Indonesia. The first contact between the people of the two countries date back to the 16th century, when the Acapulco-Manila galleon,
Okay.
you remember that at that
Yeah.
time both Mexico and the Philippines were part of the Spanish Empire.
Yes.
The Acapulco-Manila galleon used to carry from both sides of the Pacific Ocean people, ideas, and products. So the first contact date back to that period when Mexican people came to the Philippines and also to the Maluku Islands,
Okay.
to the Maluku Islands, and the other way around. Also, Mexican products came here, and many spices and products from Indonesia went to Mexico through the Manila galleon. However, as you mentioned, the establishment of diplomatic relations had to wait a few centuries later, after the independence of Indonesia. On April 6, 1953, Mexico and Indonesia signed a joint declaration in Washington, D.C., establishing diplomatic relations between the two countries. Then Mexico appointed his ambassador to Japan as concurrent ambassador to Jakarta.
Yeah.
Later on, in 1958, President Sukarno visited Mexico City, and in 1962, my then president, Adolfo López Mateos, also visited Jakarta, Indonesia in general, because he was also in Bali and other places of Indonesia. In 61, Mexico appointed a resident ambassador here in Jakarta, no more a concurrent ambassador.
Yeah.
Also, schools with the name of the other country were established. School Republic of Mexico was established here in Jakarta, and a School Republic of Indonesia was established in Mexico City. Well, since then we have enjoyed 7 decades of very friendly and cooperative relations between Mexico and Indonesia, and we have built a framework for the cooperation, political cooperation and economic and technical cooperation between the two countries. And the reason is that we have an extensive list of socio-cultural, political, and economic similarities between the two countries. First of all, well, we both are multi-ethnic, multilingual, and multicultural countries. Secondly, we are ancient civilizations. We are proud of our history and legacy. Thirdly, we are heirs of bright civilizations. Currently, we both are vigorous nations with young people who bet their future on education.
Yes.
And something very important, we are two consolidated democracies who respect the human rights of all the people. As you can see, that framework, that amount of similarities contribute to the understanding and cooperation between Mexico and Indonesia.
Mr. Ambassador, thank you so much for that history lesson. We learned a lot that how Mexico and Indonesia are actually strategic partners to each other. Now, moreover, I would also like to ask you about a multilateral relationship between Indonesia, Mexico, and other countries, especially how Indonesia and Mexico have worked together in the world arena, because there are many world organizations where Indonesia and Mexico are both members of, like the UN and G20, among many. Maybe you can tell us more about that.
Of course. Apart from a very good bilateral relations, we have an excellent multilateral relation. We also have identities in this field. We are two middle powers. Mexico and Indonesia are two middle powers. We are two emerging economies. We are every day more and more active players in the international arena, both regionally and globally. We both are leaders in our respective regions. And we share values and beliefs. We have common views on a long list of subjects of the international arena, well, such as human rights, democracy, climate change, education, health, and of course peace and security.
Well, that's really great to hear. But how about people to people and business to business relations? How is it right now?
It is also growing, despite the distance. You know, we are exactly in the other side of the world. There are right now we have 13 hours difference between Mexico City and Jakarta, so we are exactly in the other side of the world. Despite that fact, people of the two countries are growingly interested in the other country. Also, investment is growing between the two countries. In the case of Mexico, a couple of companies in the field of entertainment are present in Indonesia and also in water solutions. Recently, they had an investment near Semarang in Central Java. And a very important world leader Indonesian company in the field of polymers is investing in Mexico City. The business organizations of the two countries are more and more interested reciprocally. Last year, a Mexico-Indonesia bilateral committee was launched by CADIN, the Indonesian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and reciprocally, COMCE, the Mexican CADIN, created a committee for Southeast Asia.
Yes, indeed. So a lot of accomplishments, but also a lot of potential and lots of room for improvement.
That's right.
Mr. Ambassador, you've shared with us so many invaluable insights. Thank you so much. We learned so much about the relationship between Mexico and Indonesia. But next, we would love to learn more about yourself, if you don't mind.
Okay.
That's coming up in the next segment.
Perfect.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be taking a short break. Welcome back to Ambassador Corner. With me, Siska Becker, and my very special guest for today, the Mexican Ambassador to Indonesia, His Excellency, Mr. Armando Alvarez. Mr. Ambassador, we are blessed with very good weather today.
That's right. That's
which
right.
gives us the perfect opportunity to enjoy this beautiful area in your private residence. And this gives us the perfect backdrop for us to learn more about yourself. If you don't mind, I'm going to get a little bit personal in this segment. Now, I looked up about your educational history and I learned that even your first university degree was in international relations. Does this mean that you've always wanted to be a diplomat? Maybe you can tell us a little bit more. How was your history? How did it start? And how did your diplomatic career also begin?
Well, yes, since I was very young, I wanted to become a diplomat. So I graduated from International Relations at the National Autonomous University of Mexico. Later on, I did my social service at the Mexican Foreign Office, the Mexican Foreign Ministry, Mexican KEMLU.
Yeah.
And later, I joined the Foreign Service by competition because you have to compete.
Oh.
You have to compete. There's a certain amount of places and,
Okay.
and several people competing for those places.
I
So
see.
I joined the service by competition.
Okay.
Once you join the service, you continue competing now with the people of your rank because it's like a pyramid, like
Yeah.
every institution is like a pyramid. And well, my first diplomatic post abroad was in Guatemala City, south of the border in Central America. In Central America, it was nice to be there, beautiful country. I served there for 4 years. Then, from the closest country to Mexico, I was sent to the furthest country to Mexico. I was sent to Sydney, Australia,
Oh, wow.
to the consulate of Mexico in Sydney. I spent 3 years there, also marvelous country, your neighbor, your southern neighbor. Then I was sent to Seoul in South Korea, where I spent 4 years also, from 96 to 2000. Very interesting period during the Asian crisis. You remember?
Ah, okay.
It was a very interesting and also a very admirable country, South Korea. Then I returned to Mexico for a few years. I served in different positions, director for the OAS, Organization of American States, within the ministry, Director General for Asia Pacific at the Foreign Ministry as well, etc. Later, I was fortunate to serve in 3 countries as ambassador. My first ambassadorial post was in Costa Rica, again in Central America.
Okay.
It was a short term, a little less than 2 years.
Okay.
And then I was sent to Australia again, this time to Canberra, to the capital,
yeah.
as ambassador. I was there for 4 years, and then I was sent to this beautiful city of Jakarta, where I have been for more than 5 years. By the way, this has been the longest position I have ever had in my career. I'm very happy to be here. And during my diplomatic career, I also managed to have 2 master's degrees. one from the Deakin University of Australia when I was there,
Okay.
and one from the Center for Higher Naval Studies of the Mexican Navy when I was back home.
Okay. So, being a career diplomat, you've changed countries and residences quite often. That must be quite hard on your family, Mr. Ambassador. Could you tell us more about that?
Well, yes, it is, but somehow the family they're also accustomed to the change, and they like it. And they like it. My wife has been with me in every position, and she has been very happy as well in every country where we have been posted. Let me tell you about myself and my wife.
Yes,
I was born in a border town in northeast Mexico,
Okay.
in the state of Tamaulipas, in a city that is border with Brownsville in the state of Texas, just divided by the river.
Okay.
Just divided by the river. On the Mexican
Yeah.
side is my hometown. In the other side of the river, there's a city called Brownsville in Texas. I grew up there, but later on, my family moved to Mexico City, where I did my high school and university studies.
Yeah.
My wife Gladys, she is from the state of Veracruz in the Atlantic coast of Mexico.
Okay.
She also grew there, and then her family moved to Mexico City, and we met, fell in love, and married in in Mexico City.
Okay.
Since then, we have been together for nearly 40 years.
Wow.
We have had two children, two boys.
Okay.
Two boys. Now they are grown-up boys.
Yeah.
One of them is Rodrigo. The other one is Diego. They are now of legal age. They both are married.
Okay.
Rodrigo, the eldest one, also followed my bad steps. He presented the examination and was accepted into the Foreign Service.
how wonderful.
And now he is also a diplomat.
Okay.
The younger one, Diego, he studied physiotherapy, and he's doing a master in London right now. I keep in contact with them, but
Okay.
we live in different parts of the world. So the whole family live in different countries.
Have they ever been here to Jakarta to visit
Yes,
you?
both of them have been
Okay.
here along with their spouses, and they enjoy very much Jakarta. They enjoy very much the food, the environment, the people, etc.
Okay, that's nice to hear. Now, as you mentioned before, this has been your longest post abroad so far, right here in Jakarta, Indonesia. Since you were posted here back in 2018, after spending 5 years here in the capital, how do you feel about Indonesia, Mr. Ambassador?
I feel very happy. I feel very happy. Indonesia is a country that I admire and that I have learned to love. I can tell you that I like everything about this country. I love its nature,
Okay,
I love its culture, and most of all, I love its people.
okay,
Like Mexico, Indonesia is an enormously diverse
Yes.
country. The nature is outstanding, mountains, islands, beaches, forest, nice little villages and elegant big cities. Everything is much marvelous here. I also admire the Indonesian culture, and you must be very proud of your culture. Your batik textiles,
Yes.
your wayang theater, your gamelan music,
Wow.
your traditional dances,
Yeah.
your wood carving, your delicious cuisine, every aspect of the Indonesian culture. But most of all, more than nature and more than culture, I love Indonesian people. I believe that despite this diversity that I already mentioned,
Yeah.
Indonesians are honest people, they are smiling people, they are helpful people, they're friendly people, and they're hardworking people. I really love Indonesian people. I can tell you that it's very easy to feel comfortable and to feel at home when you are living in Indonesia. You mentioned also what do I like about Indonesia?
Yeah.
Well, I like Indonesian food. I like very much. I love a good nasi goreng. I love soto ayam.
Can you handle the spiciness though,
Well,
Mr. Ambassador?
Mexico is Mexican
Yeah,
people
yeah,
are very
yeah.
much accustomed to
Okay.
spicy flavors. So that's another identity between
Yeah.
Mexico and Indonesia. I enjoy very much a good sambal.
Yes.
A good sambal.
Of course, you cannot have Indonesian food without sambal and also kerupuk.
No problem with sambal for me. On the contrary, when they don't put sambal in the table,
Yeah.
I request the sambal for my food. Gado gado, I like the gado gado. The flavor of peanuts is very, very nice.
Okay.
I like sapi rendang, which is it's a very,
of
very,
course.
very delicious,
Very
delicious,
popular
nice. I enjoy a nice combination of several dishes like this nasi campur, which combines
yes.
different Indonesian
course.
dishes. And one soup that I particularly enjoy is one called soto betawi. I like soto betawi.
With the coconut
And
cream inside.
exactly, and sometimes
Yeah.
they prepare here at the residence soto betawi for me.
Wow, nice. Mr. Ambassador, it's fascinating to hear how you enjoy Indonesian culture, traditions, and food. But next, I would love to learn more actually about Mexican culture,
Okay.
about Mexican food as well, if that's okay with you. But
Perfect.
right now, let's take a little short break and then we'll get back in Ambassador Corner.
Perfect.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back in Ambassador Corner. Thank you for staying with us in Ambassador Corner, where I have been having a wonderful conversation with Ambassador Alvarez, the Mexican ambassador to Indonesia. Mr. Ambassador, in the previous segment, you told us how much you enjoyed Indonesian traditions, Indonesian culture, and now we would love to learn more about how us Indonesians can enjoy Mexican culture and Mexican traditions. Now, I looked up about Mexican culture, and one fascinating thing that I found that in Mexico there are 34 UNESCO heritage sites,
That's right.
and most of them are related to Mexican ancient civilizations.
Exactly.
Could you please tell us more about that?
Certainly. Well, many people knows about the Aztecs
Yeah.
in Mexico. They were a very important empire,
Yes.
but they were only the last great empire in pre-Columbian or pre-Hispanic Mexico.
Yeah.
By no means the only one. As you know, the continent that we now call America was isolated for millennia from the rest of the world
Okay.
until the 16th century. In the territory that is current Mexico, the so-called Mesoamerican or Middle American civilization arose. For 3,000 years, cultures like the Olmecs, like the Teotihuacans, like the Toltecs, the Mayans, and the Aztecs emerged. As you mentioned, all of them were differentiated people, but all of them had certain patterns in common. And the vestiges of all civilizations still amaze the world. Mexico is, you already mentioned that, one of the countries that has more archaeological sites included in the UNESCO's World Heritage List.
Okay, I think one of the most enlightening thing that we've shown our viewers so far, Mr. Ambassador, from your explanation, is how diverse Mexico is, and it has myriad of pictures actually when it comes to their tradition and cultures, not just one picture that maybe we're already familiar with. How about the food, Mr. Ambassador? Maybe not many Indonesians know a lot about different Mexican food, apart from the ones they enjoy here in Jakarta. Please tell us more about that.
Okay. Well, I mentioned that Mexico is a multicultural country.
Yeah.
Therefore, the Mexican gastronomy could not be otherwise. It's also a multicultural gastronomy.
Okay.
The base of the Mexican gastronomy is still indigenous. It's still indigenous.
Okay.
It is based on products and practices from the indigenous peoples that have been enriched along the centuries with products and practices from other latitudes. By the way, in 2010, Mexican gastronomy was also declared intangible heritage of the humankind by UNESCO, being the first gastronomy to be declared like that by UNESCO.
Wow, that's amazing.
It is.
Okay.
But speaking about food already made me hungry. So if you don't mind, I would like to invite you to taste some Mexican appetizers for you and for your colleagues.
Mr. Ambassador, I thought you would never ask. I cannot agree more. Let's enjoy.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Cannot wait to enjoy all the food. Ambassador Alvarez, the food looks amazing and they smell so good. But before we enjoy them, please explain
Certainly.
with each food what we're
Certainly.
having right now.
Well, as I say to you, we have prepared some appetizers for you.
Okay.
Like Indonesia, we have
Yeah.
formal food and we have appetizers.
okay.
In this occasion, we prepare appetizers because it's easier to manage.
Yeah.
Okay. The first one, this is called chicken tacos. Chicken tacos with corn tortilla, fried, wrapped in
Yeah.
in
So chicken tacos.
chicken tacos, with the deep fried with guacamole. Guacamole is a sauce or salad
Yeah.
made in Mexico, whose main ingredients are avocado,
Yeah.
which is originally from Mexico,
Okay.
tomato, which is originally from Mexico,
See.
chilies, which are originally from Mexico,
Okay.
onion that came from Europe, where it was brought from the Spaniards,
Okay.
and coriander that came from Asia. So it's a tricontinental tricontinental dish from Mexico, from Asia, and from
Europe.
and from
Oh,
Europe.
okay.
So you put some
Okay.
to the some
Chicken taco. Okay.
chicken taco.
Yeah. Can I try it?
Of course, of course,
Okay.
of course.
So us Indonesian, we love everything crispy. So I'm loving this already.
This is
That's good.
Good?
That's really good. Oh my God.
Okay.
It's so tasty. I love the freshness of the guacamole. You can really taste the avocado, the tomatoes, and the onions, and it goes perfectly
It goes very well.
with this
It
crispy
goes very well,
chicken
very
taco.
well, very well.
Okay, please.
Now, this is a quesadilla made with cheese and
Okay.
mushrooms. All three ingredients, wheat,
Yeah.
cheese, and mushrooms,
Yeah.
came from Europe. So
that's right.
it's made in Mexico with an original Mexican idea, but with a European product. So this is also part of the Mexican mixture,
Yeah.
gastronomical mixture.
I see.
Try it.
So we can say that the food of Mexico is like a melting pot
Exactly.
of cultures and
Exactly.
influences.
Exactly.
Now, I've had quesadillas before. They're one of my favorite Mexican food. I would love to try the one that your kitchen makes. Okay? That's
You
yum.
like it?
That's yum. That's
Perfect,
really good.
perfect,
I feel
perfect.
sorry for our viewers. I'm so sorry, but I'm enjoying myself so much right now.
They will also have the opportunity to enjoy.
Okay,
Now,
and then?
allow me to prepare one more. This is
Okay.
called a tinga tostada. Tinga tostada. This is another tortilla,
Okay.
not fried, but a microwave tortilla. This is a toasted tortilla, corn tortilla also.
Corn tortilla.
Corn tortilla.
Okay.
And you prepare something. You put some beans, which are
Okay.
originally from Mexico. You put some beans.
You mentioned corn is a staple
It's a
product.
staple food for
Yeah.
Mexico, yes. Then you put some tinga, which is sapi. It's made of
It's
beef.
beef, yeah?
Beef.
That smells so good.
It's good. It's good. Then you put some cream
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. I don't think I've had it this way before.
and some cheese.
Okay.
Some cheese, and now it's time to enjoy.
All right.
Take care because it can break. It can break. It can break.
I think I'm gonna get a bit messy now, but I think that's the best kind of food, the messy type.
It's worth doing it.
All right. Let me dig into this. Okay. I love the beef. It's so tasty. I think I've got some around my lips. I'm so sorry about that. Like it's a mixture of ingredients and they all go very well together.
That's right.
The beef, the cheese, of course. Again, I love everything crispy as an Indonesian, so that's a major plus. And there's a bit of a kick there. It's a bit spicy as well, which I love.
It's a
by the
little
way.
spicy.
I appreciate that.
It's a little spicy.
Thank you so much. All right,
Not
what
too much.
else do we have?
Well, we have some meatballs in
Okay.
chipotle sauce. Chipotle is a Mexican chili. It's a Mexican dried chili.
Okay.
It's the Mexican dried chili that is prepared in adobo. We have the adobo in common with the Philippines and with Spain. They also have adobo.
Yeah.
All three countries have adobo because we're part of the same
Yes.
same cultural influence. So
cannot stop munching, I'm
after
so
you finish, you can try the meatballs. And finally, we have this for dessert, which is
Yeah.
also made of corn with some sweets. It's the cornbread maybe not now, but at the end, when you finish the salty part of the food, you can try them. And we accompany it with hibiscus water. We call it agua de Jamaica, hibiscus water.
I've never had that before.
Okay, it's very good.
Okay.
And lemonade.
Wow, this is amazing. So this is the type of food that you can enjoy when you visit Mexico. This is what everybody enjoys.
Exactly.
Okay.
These are appetizers. Of course, we have slow food, slowly prepared and slowly enjoy food. But this is mostly for receptions or doing like that. I mean, for like finger food.
Okay, and you can enjoy this any time of the day.
You can do it from morning to evening.
Okay, now this has been absolutely fantastic. You've been very generous with your time, especially with this feast. I cannot wait to actually enjoy everything that you've displayed here. So I think I'm just gonna say a quick goodbye to our viewers and thank them very much. And also to Mr. Ambassador Alvarez, muchas gracias. Thank you so much. It's been nothing but wonderful. And muchas gracias to all of you as well. Thank you for joining us for this edition of Ambassador Corner. We'll see you at the next one. Until then, take care. I'm Siska Becker. Bye.